This video is going to help you have an introduction to how we can use the distributive property as we work with writing and solving equations in math class. There are some blocks in each bag pictured above. There are 4 extra blocks in front of each of those bags. How many total blocks are there? Take a second or a few to look at this picture and determine how you might be able to write some expressions that will help you to write an expression that would give you the total number of blocks there are. Remember, right now, you're not going to actually be able to provide a number because we don't know how many blocks are in each of those bags. So, what expressions could you write to help you determine the total number of blocks? Keeping in mind that everything we've done for our unit on equations and expressions, we've always started our expressions with let statements to communicate what we are talking about in terms of our variable and the parts of any equation we might be writing down. So if I take a look here, hopefully you would notice that we have an x represented by the number of blocks that are in the bag. So I would start this by saying, see if I can pinch this down here just a little bit. I would start this by saying let x equal the number of blocks in each bag. And then I might determine that it would make sense for me to determine an expression that would basically show us the total number of blocks if I was just looking at one bag and the blocks that are in front of it. So for example here, I'm going to go ahead and draw a circle around our one bag with those extra blocks. So I can then say let's undo that and get my pen back. We can say let x plus 4 equal the number of blocks in one bag with 4 extra blocks in front of it. So if I wanted to know the total number of blocks, what would I end up doing? So looking at this diagram again, we see that we have almost what would look like to be 3 different kind of groups here of x plus 4, because on the previous screen we said that x plus 4 gave us one bag of blocks. I'm rewriting this just slightly, although it's not in the form of a let statement, we understand what it means. One bag of blocks with 4 extras in front of it. So really, if you're looking at this now, you might say, oh, well, I could say x plus 4 for bag 1 plus x plus 4 for that middle bag and extra blocks plus x plus 4 for that third bag and those extra blocks. And so as we continue to practice, we would notice that we could say that we really have x plus x plus x plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. And based on our information that we've been working on in class recently, we would say that's 1x plus 1x plus 1x to give us 3x plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 would give us 12. So if you could come up with 3x plus 12, hopefully you can see that 3x plus 12 definitely goes with our ability here to say, well, then here we have, see if I can find a pointer for you guys. So here we have 1x, 1x, 1x for a total of 3x, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we would see that we've got 3x plus 12. And we wrote that just by kind of looking at those groupings of bags, where we had bag 1 with extra blocks, bag 2 with extra blocks, and bag 3 with extra blocks. Do you have another way that you might be able to write this down? And we're looking kind of for a quicker way or a shorter way than having to write this repeated addition over and over again. And with that, you could identify that perhaps we could say that in fact we have one bag with 4 extra blocks, but we have 3 groups of them. So that actually gives us 3 multiplied by the quantity of x plus 4. And this is where the distributive property comes into play. So in the previous screen, we said that the total number of blocks was 3x plus 12, or 3 multiplied by the quantity of x plus 4. And this notation right here, boys and girls, is a factored form of the distributive property. So factored form of the distributive property. Okay, and that basically means that we can distribute that 3 to the information that's inside of those parentheses. So hopefully this looks familiar to you, that I would say, okay, if we're going to distribute that, that means we're going to do 3 multiplied by x plus 3 multiplied by 4 to give us a simplified version of 3x plus 12. Now that we've eliminated the parentheses and gotten back to this expression that we started with right here for the total number of blocks, okay, we're just looking at this bags and block situation differently. But we are going to definitely need to use the distributive property as we continue to write and solve equations that become more complex than the ones we've been working on in class so far.